sometimes you just can't say no. I went on Faceplant Market Space and came up with this 1987 FG440-12. And those of you in the know are going to know that this is right-handed and I'm not. But I just couldn't say no for the price it was going up for. The previous owner, it was his father's, and he told me that it has traveled the world. And I believe so, because this guitar has seen some things. And so we're going to have some fun making this thing into a 12 string again. We are missing a little bit of hardware, being 3 washers and one of the ferrules that go into the tuning peg. So let's inspect and then tear this thing down and clean it up, and maybe even remove the stickers off to the bench. So I've looked down the neck. Sounds beautiful, doesn't it? I've looked down the neck and, well, save us taking that string off. So I've looked down the neck and it's fairly straight, but there's not much use in us going over the whole thing and checking the setup on it, because, well, you saw the pictures. We're just going to take the strings off and first off check and see what we're going to have to do to work on these tuners up here that don't have any washers, or the one without a ferrule. It's going to be pretty tough because I don't want to change the tuners because they are branded Yamaha Japan on the back of the tuning heads. So I'm hoping to be able to find a ferrule and some washers that will fit. We're going to take apart some of these here other tuners and finish off these and test them to see if they will hold and that they're tight and that, see they're loose. So I'm gonna have to check and make sure that they get bolted in and are secure and will stay secure. I do know of a person who just found out about them, and he has all the parts that I need because we were both looking to buy this at the same time and I just happened to get there first. So he, while I was bringing it home, he talked to the guy who was the owner of it and said, hey, I have those extra ferrules and washers if you need. But it's like an hour and a half drive away. I don't want to do that if I don't have to. So we're going to check out this stuff first, make sure that we don't have to change the tuners altogether anyways, and then we'll decide on whether we go after that. But first things first, let's get these stinking strings off. Okay, so we've got the strings off. Every one of these tuners are loose. So the first thing we're going to do is get out our 10 mil deep socket, because blah blah blah. If you get a shallow socket, the ratchet's going to push it off, and since it's a longer one, you can get a better grip on it, and you don't have to get out the ratchet every time. What we're just trying to do here is snug them up and see how they all work. Don't want to do that one. Now I'm also going to have to go around and check the back. There's one positioning screw on the back of these that go into the back of the headstock just to keep them from twisting this way, that way. So make sure all these are snug, and then we're going to take our winder, twist each one of these to see that they all, come on, that they all operate smoothly. Okay, so they were all loose, and some of the paddles were loose too, so we tightened down the Phillips, small Phillips, on the outer edge, and they all, so far, other than these three, we won't be able to tell till we MacGyver some hardware in to make sure that these will all stay placed. So that's a real good thing there. Now they all tend to twist smoothly. I'm not feeling any grinding in any of them, so that's always good. They have a fairly good quality tuner on them, no doubt. Well, it's a pretty nice Yamaha. So let's remove some of this here hardware, fill up these here spaces, and check them to see if we have to actually change any tuners or if we just need to get the washers and ferrule. So we took a bunch of the hardware, moved it around, made sure that there was hardware in every corner, and all the tuners are fine. They are tight once you tighten them down. Because this thing, I think, had a lot of travel, every screw was loose. The screws up from the bottom through the tuner heads, the screws on the end of the paddles for the tension, every one of these ferrules were all loose. I think it was just shook apart. On top of that, I think it might have been put away and we're missing parts because the skinny G-string, so the first tuner on the low side, it had a hunk of string wound so tight around the spindle that I had to get out 3 tools and that just to get a little wee piece of wire off. That, I think, could have been the issue with why it was not used, or it wasn't used as a 12 string. I don't know. For today, I think what we're going to do is try and get those stickers off there. Hopefully not do anything. I'm hoping there's not much goo that's sucked right into the fretboard there. We're going to have a look at that and then probably just clean it over. So we're just missing some hardware. We're going to need 1 ferrule and 3 washers. I'm going to check with this gentleman that I was just put in touch with today, because he said he could get me a left-handed nut if I wanted to convert this to left hand. And I told him that's cool and all. Well, first off, I just made my first nut last week, but I'm not ready for a 12-string one. But I wouldn't convert this unless I could change the bridge. So unless he's got a left-handed bridge for a 12-string, I might try and find some of this ferrules around here. If not, then I'm going to make a long trip and may as well make it worthwhile and get all the hardware that I'm going to need. Maybe while I'm there, take a look around, see if there's something else that I might want to pocket as in bring back to the inventory. Okay, so let's try and peel these stickers off and see what's underneath. So we get out our spray cleaner, not a paid promotion, and we use our beige cloth so we know that it's cleaner and not fretboard oil or any other substance. Don't mix your substances. So we're gonna, usually don't do the fretboard, but I usually just oil it. But first time, let's clean it up. Then we'll go over the headstock and make sure that we get anything that was on here beforehand off. Once it becomes our own DNA, then we will just only be oiling it and cleaning when necessary. So we're coming to the end of day one with the new FG440-12. We cleaned it up. There's a little cloudiness in the center part of the back of the neck here, but it's smooth. It's something under the finish. Big deal. It's got very few actually spots where there's wear work, and on top here where he would be playing, he had taped on the song lists, and the glue from the scotch tape was a bugger, but cleaning again with my basic guitar cleaner took that all off. There's a couple of marks, as I say, mainly in this shoulder area. The front and the back, like the back is, considering 1987, beautiful. There's little wee lines on it, but there's no damage, there's no buckle marks or anything like that. And so the nut and the fretboard the nut and the saddle are actually not bad shape. There are some slight divots in the first 5 frets where it's obviously been played a bunch, and the frets are going to need a polishing, and there are little indents in certain spots, but nothing drastic to this point, nothing that can't be reworked. And it also has the 4 hearts around a diamond dots. And the only missing hardware is 1 ferrule and 3 washers. And it's this ferrule out of this tuner. So if anyone out there knows where to get that particular ferrule, that'd be cool. I have a feeling I might be making the long drive, in which case I will also get the 3 other washers. I could get washers pretty much anywhere, but if I can get the actual Yamaha washers, fine, because as I say, these tuners they seem to be fine at this point. They're tight. So once we get it restrung, we'll be able to tell for sure if any of them have to be replaced, but they don't feel that way to me right now. So yes, that's where we're going to leave it here for today. So ferrule, 3 washers. That's all I need for this thing to be in top pristine shape. So I may be getting hold of my new friend tonight and seeing if just how much that is, because it's as I say, it's an hour drive from here, but to have the actual part and me not having to go buy a set of tuners just to rob one part out of it, it makes more sense that way. And as I say, original Yamaha part, that's what I really want, because that's what this gentleman says he basically deals in. So with that, thanks for watching. Please share, like, subscribe, leave a comment below, tell me what I did right, did wrong. I haven't done much wrong yet because I haven't had much of a chance to get into it. It was basically a cleanup and overview. So with that, catch you next time. Bye now.